It was a party full of friends. Everybody knew each other. Madison, I think this was her first time to go out after having her child. It was the first time to go out with her boyfriend and her friends, to go hang out, let loose a little bit. 4 males, black to mixed race. They show up in a truck. They do almost like a stack on the door, and they enter the house. The last suspect, I can tell he has a long rifle in his hand. He enters the door, and right when you go inside the door, there was Madison sitting right there on the couch. I don't know what prompted this to happen or what happened inside, but that last suspect with the rifle shoots Madison in the head. Then all the suspects leave. They weren't able to rob anybody. It appeared to be almost like an accident. They went there for a reason that somebody knows. And we've been led off on different trails by different involved parties who think that this guy's suspects, we follow that lead, or this guy's a suspect, we follow that lead. And ultimately they end up being dead ends, and we've wasted a lot of time because people are lying to us.
She was full of life. She was funny. She had a great sense of humor. Everybody said that they were her friend, and they have no idea what a friendship is. They're still being quiet, they're still being selfish. Spencer, her son, is constantly looking up at the shelf, and her urn is up there, and he's always pointing at it, saying, "Mommy." He deserves justice. Maddie deserves justice.
We are highlighting a new version of our billboard campaign that features the names and photographs of some of Buffalo's homicide victims, whose killers have yet to be found. Today's event is an opportunity to give a voice to the often forgotten families left behind.
I stand here as a very hurt, heartbroken, and grieving mother, pleading for witnesses to come forward. The Crime Stoppers tip line is anonymous, and so is the reward. God forbid one day your loved one, this happens to one of your loved ones, and you're standing in the same spot. You will want the community to help bring justice and have it be served. Thank you.
Law enforcement cannot solve on their own without help from the community. If they don't have a witness, if they don't have a murder weapon, if they don't have a confession, we need people to come forward and to let people know what they know, or it's impossible to solve these cases.
That is my everyday prayer, that I get justice for the death of my son, because this hurt and this pain is unbearable, and nobody should have to go through this.
I want to thank everybody who's taking the initiative to bring awareness to what's going on in our community, and how they took the most important thing of my entire life away from me. If I could just have one thing, I would definitely ask to stop the violence.
The billboard campaign is to get illegal guns off the street, as well as to get individuals who committed heinous crimes off the streets. If you have information that could lead to the arrest of an individual associated with the crimes that they discussed with regards to their children or others, please call the phone number 867-6161. It is completely anonymous, completely confidential, and you can receive up to a $7,500 cash reward that is confidential.
To look at her camera, she saw a man on her front porch exposing himself, ultimately committed a lewd act. Investigators with our sex crimes unit are asking for the public's help identifying a man in surveillance video. We're releasing it today. The incident occurred up around Hefner and Council. There was a woman, it was very, very early in the morning. She got a notification on her video doorbell that there was some type of an activation at her front door. So when she went to look at her camera, she saw a man on her front porch exposing himself, ultimately committed a lewd act. She yelled at him as soon as she saw this. He took off running on foot, and obviously we have no idea who this man is. Our investigators have received a couple of tips, have followed up on those tips, but unfortunately none of the tips have been substantiated. Obviously we want to get this person identified. I think it's important for the public to know that oftentimes individuals like this, they don't stop at just one incident. Their behavior often escalates, so it's obviously someone that we want to get identified and take him off the street before he can victimize somebody else. and you can see one of the subjects get out and run up with this assault rifle. Well, this is a case that our investigators are working right now. It was a drive-by shooting that occurred in southeast Oklahoma City. It occurred near Southeast 44th and Sunny Lane. From watching the video, you can see there's a red car parked in the driveway. Gray vehicle, looks like possibly a Nissan, pulls up. Subject gets out of the car with what appears to be an assault rifle and opens fire on this car that's sitting there in the driveway. You can't see at the time, and you can't tell, there was an 18-year-old girl sitting in that vehicle, and not only was that person the initial suspect that got out, there was another person firing from the vehicle. So there were multiple shots fired, unfortunately hitting this girl several times. We don't know what the motivation was behind this attack, but again, it was a very violent, brutal attack. This girl is innocent, sitting in a vehicle, and ends up getting shot several times, seriously injured. So these are obviously people that we want to find out who they are and get them off the streets. Again, a very dangerous situation.
Texans, particularly those of us blessed to live in East Texas, are a generous and forgiving people. Need something, and we'll help you get it. Hurt us, and, after you've been punished, we'll get over it. Mess with Chick-fil-A, and Nope. That's over the line. The dirtbags in this video not only messed with Chick-fil-A, they stole the catalytic converter from the restaurant's delivery car and messed with our ability to get tasty chicken brought to our door. If you can identify the thieves, submit a tip at 639tips.com. Use our app or call 936-639-TIPS. Tips and calls directly to Crime Stoppers are anonymous and reward eligible. With Crime Stoppers, the entire process, from tip to reward, is handled without identifying the tipster. No one will know that you helped solve the case. Eyeball Police Department and a grieving family need your help identifying the murderers responsible for the August 28th death of Cadillac Campbell, and Crime Stoppers has reward money available for the first anonymous tip that helps solve the case. Around 2:30 a.m. that Saturday, Cadillac was a passenger in a vehicle traveling north on 1st Street in Diboll. At the intersection of 1st and MLK, a small, dark-colored car pulled along the driver's side of Cadillac vehicle. Multiple unidentified criminals in the other vehicle fired numerous shots into Cadillac vehicle, killing Cadillac. The shooters drove away northbound on 1st Street. If you can ID the shooters or provide information that might help solve this murder, submit a tip anonymously at 639tips.com. Use our app or call 936-639-TIPS. Only tips and calls directly to Crime Stoppers are anonymous and reward eligible. The entire Crime Stoppers process, from tip to reward, is handled without identifying the tipster. No one will know who you are.